So my name is Roderick. They call me Big Feet because the company that I actually own myself. It's called Big Feet Heat. So that's how I started. One third of the owners of Sneaker Culture AZ, which that's where we at right now.
My name is Warren Jones. I am owner and founder of Rule 27 Design, which is a graphic design, Salesforce, IT shop here in Phoenix.
My name is Bass, Rob Bass, if you prefer. Owner of Bass Customs. I'm a sneaker artist. I do canvas paintings as well, and currently working into my own streetwear brand. That's what I do.
Pop Fields. I'm a designer with two brands, Ace Apparel, Beyond Forgiveness. Just a multitude of mediums that I like to work with in art.
My name Tim. I guess I'll say my last name Robertson. I'm a co-host on a podcast called Jones Home Podcast. We talk about various topics, anything from, friendships, marriage, lifestyles, just work, just anything, any and everything, honestly. We try to stay away from politics and religion, but if we dab into it, we dab into it.
For those that don't know, Devontae Mack, owner and founder of Divergent Media, as well as my detailing business, Details by Mac. Want to start off by saying I appreciate you guys all for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, I've been trying to get this guy on for so long now. Me and this guy just touched base last week.
Right.
I've been trying to get Mr. Big Feet over here on for a minute now, so definitely glad we can get this done. So obviously it's Black History Month. I know viewers are gonna look at one of us and be like, hold on, there's something wrong here. Yes, Warren is black. He is. Let's just get that out of the way now. He is. I know it shocks me too, but he is. We all come in different shades. We don't all look the same. Let's just get that out the way now. But it being Black History Month, I kind of wanted us to get together. Obviously, we all either own businesses or are in some type of art form, whether it's, design, podcasts, other media. Kind of just wanted us to kind of chat about how it is being in our industries / creative spaces. For me, I'll go ahead and start. So for me, obviously in media, I do see a lot of people that look like us. It varies on what position they're in, obviously, but you do see it. Detailing wise, it's a little less to see, black people in that industry. It's fairly diverse. You do see a lot of different cultures in it. I've just kind of noticed over the years, you tend to not see too many African Americans.
For me, deal with shoes. So shoes, hat, fashion. So this is what we do. But it was kind of weird. Here in Arizona, for me it was a little weird because it's just to see how people dress. People used to see me and they'll see me from head to toe matching. They're like, it was amazing, this big thing, and I'm like, I thought that's what everybody did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird, and then and even when people come in here now, they're like, who own it? Me? You know what I'm saying? We do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's it's kind of weird. Oh no, we see shops like this, and they always say we see shops like this in LA, all the time. I'm like, well, we got one here, and it's black owned, so. But they think just because you got the Japanese market, the restaurant and all that, somebody of a different race owns it, and it's it feels good to be no, it's us.
That's
what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, there are a lot of designers and artists and really creative people that are of all different ethnicities, just doing what I do in terms of computer programming and code writing and things like that. Not so much. It tends to be more of a younger, maybe Asian or white Caucasian kind of thing on the programming end, but that's design. There's everybody's into it.
Do you think that's a void that'll be filled?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think it's really, as we move into a future of AI and Chat GPT and things like,
Right.
there are going to be a lot of creative jobs that start to kind of go away, and you'll really only see true artists, like people that are dedicated to the craft, and
Right.
not necessarily just, oh, I like to screw around in Photoshop.
Obviously with video and all that, like if I don't continue to like get better, I'm going to fall behind. And you always have that mindset, I feel, as an artist, like I don't want to fall behind, so I have to keep learning.
I don't think it's just wanting to fall behind. I think it's also, yeah, increasing your skills is important, but I think bass and pop will tell you it's having to deal with that constant criticism. People will look at both of your work and go, that's trash, I don't like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
All
love
the
that.
time. But other people are like, wow, this is so
Oh,
great,
yeah,
this is so
right.
beautiful, so wonderful. So being able to handle that, you're not everybody's cup of tea, and
Right.
not everybody's
Yeah.
going to look at you and just go,
Oh yeah,
you know,
and
you're not
I like
Kanye
how
West. You can't just touch something and it's going
Right.
to sell.
Yeah, and I like how you put that too. Art is so subjective. Like that is the
It
true
is.
statement.
Right.
Because even I look at like my videos versus everyone else's videos. Like I'll sit there and nitpick. I'm like, I love that. I don't like that, but I love that. Meanwhile, I know somebody is doing the exact same thing to my stuff. So
Right.
it's always like, at the end of the day, always try to be humble about it. Because for one, hey, even the guys that are helping with filming right now, like they're miles ahead of where I want to be. Even so, it's like I know that I have to keep progressing at the end of the day. So I always try to be humble about it.
And I want to piggyback off of what Warren said. I totally agree. You're not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
And when I got into the podcast space, True had to make me realize that. Shout out to my co-host True. Everybody's not gonna like what we talk about. That's totally fine. That means our content isn't for you. And I don't want to change our brand or change who we are to appease people who doesn't like what we do. Like I have an audience. It may not be the biggest audience, and of course I'm trying to grow my audience, but I have a base, and they like what we do so far. And that's what I try to focus on. Focus on and serve the people that like what we do.
Right.
That's facts.
Because I feel like art is such a reflection of yourself, or at least in my opinion, should be. And so, for me, people always ask like, "What's your demographic when you're selling?" And I'm like, "Me."
Yeah.
It's literally me. I design stuff for me. I am extremely flattered that people are receptive to these designs, and that's how I created a brand. But at the end of the day, if nobody bought my shit, I would still be making shit for me.
Exactly, because
Simply.
that's how we started too.
Right.
At least at how I started, it's just like I wanted to be different. I made something that I like. I'm aware, so I just keep that every time I do something. It's like
Yeah.
I'm making this because I like it.
Right.
Now, if you want to buy it, I could put a price on it. You
Right.
feel me? But other than that, I do everything for me. Like when I make something, I want to make a new shirt, whatever it is. I need to make this for me. Because I'm gonna be the one putting it on. I'm gonna have to model it. I'm a walking billboard for my own brand. You feel me? So
Oh, yeah.
it's just like once I put that on, I know what it's gonna feel like, and it's like, oh, where you get that from? Here go the business card.
Right,
Here go the
right, right.
whatever you need. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You want one? Go ahead.
Right.
You want one right now? I go to the trunk. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one of those things with just art in general. It's just like, like you said, it's subjective. But for me, it's just like I make this because I like it. I put it out there. You either gonna like it or you're not gonna like
Right.
it. If you don't like it, like.
And
keep
the
moving.
other thing
You feel me? Yeah.
that you touched on too, and not to take away anything about how you feel or your perspective,
Yeah.
but what is the quote like? Comparison is the quickest way to the killer of creativity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I just kind of like focus on me. I love
Yeah.
admiring other people's stuff, but I know it's hard to do, but I try not to critique so much.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah,
Oh.
that's definitely one thing I'm trying to get out of that bad habit.
right.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you take notes from things, you
Yeah.
know, in your observation, but I try not to critique as
Yeah.
much because, you know, my criticism falls within me, and if
Yeah.
I don't like something, or you know, I'll cut
Oh, yeah.
myself, so
And-
I'll put something on, and then
Oh, yeah.
the structure is completely off. That's where my criticism is.
And even to go further with that, I get people that ask me from time to time, about doing obviously these shows and media and all that. And I tell them, it's kind of tough for me to even give advice because I'm my own biggest critic. Like, and even while I'm editing this, once it's all done, I'm probably still gonna watch it back and be like, I did that wrong, I did this wrong, like I always do. But the one key piece of advice I do tell people, and even I still feel strange even giving the advice at times, but I do tell like people that want to get into film / just making video content, you have to watch your stuff back. It's something you absolutely have to do, because that's how you see your mistakes and learn how to correct them. And hey, I'll even be the first to say I still mess up with that from time to time because I hate watching my stuff back, or even like having to listen to the podcast, because I do a podcast as well. I have to listen to that because my biggest struggle is still audio. I'm still constantly always trying to perfect audio, whether it's my podcast or video. So, yeah, trust me, I understand where both y'all come from. Heck, any of y'all come from, because, oh yeah, I judge my stuff, honestly, probably harder than anybody else will. So,
one thing I did want to touch on, though, because I know you were saying something about the IT field, and I'm in the IT field. That's what I do. It's my 9 to 5, and I'm a manager. But when they see me come in, it's like, you don't look like an IT person.
You know, get my glasses on.
What am I supposed to look like?
Protector, right?
What am I supposed to look like?
Right.
Like, is it like you said, the pocket protector? What do I need to look like to make you, believe? But it's, your character and your work. You know what I mean? Everything that you put in that kind of solidifies you. You know what I mean? So, and for me to make it to where I am now, from level 1 technician up to a manager, I had to be doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man, how they just make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, that you got to be either Asian or white to be a
We
technician.
do
It's
that
like,
so
man,
often
like,
with
I'm
labels,
not.
because you know what's funny? I was telling, my friend was asking me about how I got into fashion, and it was kind of like I wouldn't say a mistake, but it was just kind of weird how it developed, because I've always been drawn to it, but I never had this inkling of like, all right, this is where I'm going, and I'll tell you why. You hear about a dude sewing, what was the first thing that you back where I was coming up, you know what I'm saying? It was like, dude's gay as hell.
I mean, we did it because we had to in school.
yeah. But like, just as like, oh, that's what he likes to do
Right.
in his free time type shit. He might have a little sugar in his tank. Let me say, I have no wrong with any people who of any kind. But at the time, that was my mindset of like, okay, maybe that's not where I pursue, because the way that I like to dress, the things that I like to see, may be perceived a certain way. Obviously, I developed and grown into a space where that doesn't matter to me. But it's interesting when you think about the constructs of the positions that we hold, the fields that we want to pursue, the titles that we hold, the businesses that we own, and what we think we're supposed to look like, what society thinks that we're supposed to look like. It's really interesting. But that's dope that you're in that space and you get that look of like, are you? And obviously, you are.
Me and Tim were actually conversating about this with our homie Eddie, about obviously creating spaces for us. And I had made a point to him. Keep in mind, I'm all for making more spaces for Black people, but I said, I think we need to start taking it a step further, and we need to start integrating into everyone else's spaces, because I feel like if we kind of box ourselves in, we're going to limit ourselves eventually. But also B, we need to get into these certain spaces, because then that's going to help, future generations obviously feel more comfortable about getting into these spaces / give them a helping hand.
Well, I think that's part of like why we are where we are, is so we can help influence the people, where not many kids that could walk in and be like, oh, you own this place? And then they're looking like, oh shit, somebody who looks like me can do this. The same way that I was a little bit apprehensive about fashion, but then I looked at it like, I don't want a young child who was like myself wanting to be a part of it so bad and having this apprehension because you didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm obviously much older before the Virgil, Kanye, you know, there weren't many Pharrell guys that were idolized, and you didn't even know that they were like true producers of it. You just thought it was like a collaborative, slap their name on this stuff. But now we're seeing a lot of great creators, great business owners, podcasters, you know, people in tech, like these spaces that I really feel like that's our goal, is to set up this vision for kids to look and be like, oh, this can be done. Like, I don't have to have these apprehensions because it's doable.
Right. Because that's one of my main things, whatever, because it's coming from where I'm coming from. Like, when you grow up around a certain culture, it's just like, you can't express yourself certain ways, you feel me?
Yeah.
And then it's a lot of lost talent in the hood, because if you with your boys, oh man, you want to be a dancer? Oh man, you want to paint?
Right.
Nah, man, play basketball.
Yeah.
Come sell these drugs,
Right,
whatever
right.
it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like for me personally, I just want to be able to give kids somebody to look at, like, dang, he from the same neighborhood I'm from.
Isn't
Like,
it interesting that it's
you know,
a negative connotation to the positive things that we wanted to
Yeah.
do?
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing that's crazy. Just like, I want to be able, like, the kids from the neighborhood that I'm from or whatever, just be like, I can do whatever. If I want to dance, like, when you look at my Instagram page, it's like, I'm not just collecting shoes and posting it. Like, you see me dancing, you see me painting, you see me doing comedy. Like, I'm just a bunch of these different things. Just like, at the same time, like, if I gotta get busy, I gotta get busy. But I don't want to, like, really portray that. But it's just like, I let people know I'm from the West Side. Like,
Right.
this is where I grew up at.
Right.
This is where I am now. You don't have to be a product of your environment. You feel
Right.
me? Change up that narrative and just be something better. Like, even with him just saying he was in IT, before I started designing sneakers, the first iPhone came out 2007.
Oh, wow.
Still ain't, right?
2007, 2008. I had a business jailbreaking iPhones since the first one came out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was really one of them dudes. Like, I'm looking at the videos, I'm getting the software, I'm learning how to do it, boom, 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 and then, like, put my ads on Craigslist. Yeah, jailbreak your iPhone, $20, we'll get it done. People show up.
Allegedly.
Oh no, I was doing it. I was doing it. Like, I can't do nothing about it now. You know what I'm saying? It's legal. You feel me?
Statute of limitations.
Right.
Tim Cook's on the
No, but
Tim Cook is on.
But like, even then, back then, it was one of those things where it's just like, it wasn't illegal. It's just like, it was just a different space to where it's just like, how are we going to put laws on this to where you can or can't do certain things? So like, even back then though, like I said, that's just something I was doing, like, real heavy, just wanting to be in something different. You feel me? And just like people just looking at you like, you're the guy that's going to do this. You know, you put it, yeah, you get all this right here. This guy knows what he's doing.
Oh,
Of course I know what I'm doing, you feel me? Because, you know what I'm saying, I learned this, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't just look at me and just think like you might get robbed or something, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? I could help you out.
That's so
You want that
comparable
free
to
Spotify?
Martellus Bennett.
You're absolutely right.
Right. And so
You're absolutely right.
they
I
were
forgot
they
you
were talking about it, and
Play
they were
for
like,
Green Bay, too.
they were like, bro, where'd you get into this Japan? Like, the way you talk, the way you dress. They're like, nigga, you from Texas? And he was like,
His fit was fly though.
you're right. It was
It's-
super. It was
it's
super.
fly.
But
It's fly.
his response was so key, where he was talking about the imagination.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, like, I don't have to be confined to where I came from,
Right.
nor any other construct. My imagination is Japan, and I love everything
Oh, yeah.
about it. And that's where I feel like, the same way that we're talking about, we want to give kids the imagination that I can be in IT, that I can be in design, that I can be a dancer, a TikToker. I can do these other spaces and elevate myself and not feel like, oh, I got to worry about the criticism of the hood or
So,
anybody else.
I want y'all feedback on this because Baton Rouge, we really didn't have those, I want to say, artsy or those creative type of high schools, like that high school Tupac went to. What was it?
Julia,
Juilliard,
right?
Juilliard.
Yeah, New York.
Like some of those schools in cities like LA, New York, Chicago, you have those creative spaces where kids can go to school and be creative. They can do, dancing, painting, things like that. I do think your environment plays such a huge role because if you don't have those schools to say, hey, there's more things to do outside of sports, like being a creator, how do you know, honestly?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the, and not to get too off topic, but it was like I felt that way about gentrification in the hood. We done had a lot of successful people of color, no matter how you wanted to find it, even like our athletes and stuff like that. How many of them brought back the hood? How many of them reestablished these communities, these centers where kids can go to that have creative endeavors that they can pursue? Like, I really want to create a manufacturing house where kids can come in and learn how to digitize, learn how to embroider. Like, I really want to do that. And I'm thinking, I don't have nearly the finances or resources yet to do it, but I'm going to work my ass off to do it.
I'm glad you said that too, because it, for one, is completely on topic. But I had the idea, because I don't know if you guys know, they're actually going to be shutting down the racetrack out here pretty soon for freeway construction they're trying to do.
What
Not
racetrack?
PIR?
You talking about the one that's all the way out?
like near the casino. Not PIR. The
Wild Witch Pass?
yes. Wild
Oh,
Horse.
Firebird Racer?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like two different names. So they're gonna be shutting it down, and obviously we have this whole takeover issue with people doing donuts and all that in the middle of traffic. So, for one, if it's not really sneakers, like cars is my absolute like first love. Like, I've always loved it since I was a little kid, and I'm getting to a point I'm about to kind of start doing something car related with the media stuff. But once I heard that about the raceway closing, I had said, well, the city's already complaining about these takeovers and all that. I don't think they understand once they shut down the racetrack, it's just going to increase. So I had said, I wish I had the funds, because I would love to bring a racetrack back to the West Valley, because we haven't had one since I think roughly the 90s, I want to say. So I was telling somebody this, and they looked at me like I was crazy, because I'm like, yeah, like, why wouldn't you bring one over there? I mean, for one, it already sucks being from the West Valley. We always have to drive to everything, and it gets so annoying after a while, because you said you were from the West Valley?
West side.
Where exactly?
That's between 7th and Buckeye to 19th Ave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Avondale myself.
Okay.
So, obviously, the whole everybody hates on the West Side so much. Like, oh, it's ghetto.
Because when I moved here, and I moved here in 2015.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, I moved on Camelback, over by 83rd Ave and Camelback. And they're like, man, you in the hood? And I'm like,
Sure.
man, I know, I grew up in the hood. Like, I know exactly what the hood is when they say, hey, go in the house.
Yep.
Right.
You know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you call this hood, and I say a stray dog every now and then or something. Like, it's quiet.
But in comparison to Scottsdale, that was the thing.
Right,
But
right.
You were comparing it to.
But
I'm surprised they told you that.
But it's like, it's just so crazy that, obviously now they're finally starting to build more on the West Side. It's crazy the plans that they have apparently for it. But
the Mattel theme park.
Exactly.
That's coming out.
But it's like, there's so much that I would love to do. Like, hey, truth be told, I even told somebody I'd love to own a sneaker store, but I probably want to do more retail. And even like, obviously, if homies wanted to sell their brands in there, hey, you're more than welcome to. I would love to do something like that.
But that's a great idea, bro. Like, why aren't we buying up that, especially if we're a big key player in the car industry out here?
Exactly.
The automobile industry is great, but the same thing for like, touch back on yours, the first thing that comes to mind for me when I think of Louisiana is y'all got great football out there, hip hop in the South, y'all had was terrorizing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What Master P is doing now, I don't want to take away from because I don't know everything that he's done for the communities out in
It's funny,
Louisiana.
I was actually tweeting about that earlier today, Master P.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But Master P, Baby,
They made it out the hood 3 ways, man.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like, where's that redistribution of wealth to keep that chain going?
So I'm glad you brought that up. It's this conversation requires so much nuance because it's like, say like you do buy up the hood, and people always keep breaking in your establishment. Like, how do you handle it? Like, you consistently rebuild, and someone always breaks in. Because I feel a lot of guys feel when they make it out, it's like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with that. I'm not gonna build over there because I don't think nothing's gonna come out of it by building something there.
The idea
That
is
is
that,
true.
oh, he's got enough. He can afford me going in there and stealing and taking.
Yeah.
Like, you hit the lotto, or you're whatever business
Yeah.
owner. Like,
Yeah.
you got more than enough. I have nothing, so I'm just gonna take this.
Yeah, but see, I guess that's the problem is like the imagination. This is what I know and this is what I do because I come from a long line of people who do that. Around a lot of my partners do that. That's what I do. But if we gotta change that narrative somehow, like I was talking about this with the homie when it was about the communities. This is and I want y'all to answer this question. Why is it that pedophiles are the only ones that have to register in neighborhoods?
Can you explain that point a little bit?
Yeah,
more?
I'm
Yeah,
trying
so-
to.
I'm
So-
like,
so-
okay, so-
Wait, hang
no.
on.
So the reason why I say this is because we have these crime-ridden neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We've all come from them, we've been in them, right? We know who's doing what. We know what's going on. Why do we let that? Why is that the narrative? Like, and I say that because a pedophile has to register so you know that you
Yeah.
got a criminal of a certain status
Yeah.
in your neighborhood.
Mhm.
Right.
Why isn't that for all criminals?
So like somebody there like breaking and entering, or somebody that
Right.
was there, so you don't
Right,
know they're
exactly.
there. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
like,
exactly. I feel like that becomes the discourager if more people know, like, and I don't want it to be in a way that like you don't have a way to
Like, show people you've kind of like been reformed. in a
right,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same token, is like if we were to persecute them as a community more, you know, like of like, hey, that's not what we own. That's not what's happening around here. And I know that it requires a lot,
It does.
but at the same time, it's like, where do we start? You know, because I feel like that's the narrative. Is like, that's what we know. That's what we do. What's gonna change about that?
you gotta break down those walls. You know what I'm saying? That started back in slavery.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Where it's
1000%.
like light skin here, dark skin there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's just kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's another gripe that I have too. That whole light skin, dark skin battle. Like, it's to a point. It's so annoying. Like, I'm like, bro. For one, like for me, for example, I raised as a kid. I was always told, mind your own business. Not everybody's business has to be your business.
Oh, but that's changed tremendously.
Oh yeah, now like heck, people are still mad at Chris Brown, bro. It happened in 2009. Get over it. He was like what, 17? Like, bro, get over it.
Well, but that's the age of social media, though. Like,
Exactly.
I just,
But also,
gives
that's
people-
another gripe
yeah,
I
who
have
don't-
too.
I feel like people who don't have too much going for themselves involve themselves in those conversations
Right.
and stuff. You feel me? Because like I'll see it,
100%.
like I'll see it on Facebook. People like going back and forth or something, and I'm like, I could comment on this, but it ain't gonna do nothing for me.
Exactly.
And then like I'll keep it moving. Like, let me get back to this art. Let me get back to whatever
Right.
it is. But it's just like
Or-
social media, music, whatever it is. Just like it's just all this.
Algorithm.
Yeah, it's just all this just contained and like
Yeah.
just keep you focused on this. It's gonna take yourself as a person or a group of friends to be like, you know what, we could be doing something better than this.
Right.
And then just to go back to what you was talking about as far as like building back in the communities and stuff, all that is really just gonna have to be a group effort.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the way from the music, the people that we idolize and we look up to, down to, you know, the kids that we gotta build for the future, you feel me? Because just like we can all sit here and be like, yo, we can do this. We have on the right mindset. We can build something for the community. We'll bring it up. And then you got
There's
the youngins
opposition.
still listening to whoever popping at the time. Drill music is out there. I gotta get it. We're gonna stick them up. And if you so used to getting money at a fast pace versus coming somewhere and clocking in, putting in the hours, being used to not getting any money,
Yeah.
and then having those days when you do have money, you feel me? It's just like, how long is that person gonna be able to like exist on like, oh man, I'm broke.
Right.
But if I go back to doing what I was doing before,
right.
I get that
I
money a
saw
lot quicker.
You
You
know,
feel me?
I actually want to touch on that point too, because. So let me ask y'all this question: as a business owner / creative, obviously, I have kind of told people, you know, when you get into whether it's being a business owner or being a creative, you have to have the mindset. You may not see money for quite a long time.
Here's your hot take of the episode.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it.
Money is the easiest thing in the world to make.
I agree. I do agree.
Easiest thing in the world to
I
make.
do
And everybody,
agree.
well, like, what the fuck? Like, it is the easy. You could literally scribble something on a piece of paper, and somebody will pay you for that.
I
You gotta
agree.
find that person.
Right.
Somebody will do. You can squeeze lemons, put it in water with some sugar, and somebody will pay
There's
you for it.
monetary
Like,
value.
money
I
is
fully
easy to make.
agree,
Mhm.
and that was the point I was getting to.
Perseverance of
Yes.
creating art and
Yes.
doing what you love, which is what you
And
guys
that's
talked about.
exactly what I was getting to.
That's the hard thing.
Do you feel not everyone can do it because they don't have that perseverance? To when it gets tough, are they gonna fold? Because I've noticed it's a trend now to be an entrepreneur. Like it's
Right.
truly a trend, or heck, even be an artist for that
Yeah,
matter.
no, it definitely is. But I think what we dealt with, like a pandemic, it made everybody kind of look
Yeah.
and feel like the
Yeah.
pressure of doing that.
Exactly.
But I think all of us, if you don't own something, you have a 9 to 5 and 9 to 5. Not everybody has great work ethic.
Oh yeah.
You ever work at a job and just be like,
Yeah, who the fuck?
bro,
are you?
what?
Yeah.
How, like, who taught
Right.
you how to work?
I'm going through that right now
You
with
know
my
what I'm
9 to
saying?
5.
But see, that's the thing. And then so you have managers, and I've always had a gripe with management and leadership because they're
I agree with that. I agree with
separate.
they're two separate things.
Yeah.
And we,
Attitude reflects leadership. I totally agree.
right, exactly. So when we don't have great leadership in a lot of establishment, you don't have people that are motivated in a way to understand why to be a good
Mhm.
employee and how it helps on the back end when you put in the work and,
Oh,
you,
yeah.
and you get what you get. You know what I'm saying? So
100%. Oh yeah, like I had to explain to a kid at my 9 to 5, like, dude just was constantly complaining. I'm like, bro, look, I'm gonna put it to you this way. For one, I'm a lot porter at a dealership. It is the literal easiest job, and I had to explain to him, like, bro, you're complaining about even being here, but I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. You're like 21 right now. This is the easiest job you're ever going to have. I'm just gonna flat out tell you that right now.
And at 2021, you shouldn't have the easiest job in the world.
no.
At 2021, that's when you should be. If you're only working 9 to 5, one, that's a problem. Like,
Yeah.
if you think you're going to get ahead and you're only putting in 8 hours a day,
Right.
not going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But when you're 20, 21, 22, that's when you should be working
Grinding.
80, 90 hours a week. That's when you should be doing everything that you can because you've got nothing but energy, nothing
Oh,
but
yeah.
time,
But
and you can focus
so
on
I got pushback
whatever you
on
want to
that.
focus
Why
on.
are we programmed in America to work that many hours?
We don't necessarily need to, but it doesn't. When
you
we
wanna
say
build
work, there's a couple things like
We
say
take
for,
it from entrepreneurship.
from
working that
any
many
from,
hours?
from any
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
because I think the term work, because I hate the term work and what I do. I call it labor of love. Like I love doing what I like to do, and certain people would say, "Man, you be on your machine, or how could you watch YouTube for 6 hours on how to figure out a certain new hymn that I want to establish?" That's work, but at the end of the day, it's the time that I have to. That's learning. Learning is the
Oh, yeah.
biggest part of all that we do. Like even in this, reselling isn't just like I get product and do it.
Yeah.
You have to know what to move, how to negotiate pricing and all that stuff. And I'm sure he's done watch plenty of videos from people. He done talked to other business owners who do the same thing, and you have to put in that time. So the idea that it's work, it's information, and you have to know how to obtain that information. And if sometimes you have to put in the physical labor to obtain that, that's what it is.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So me and my boy started our podcast on something just chilling in the backyard, started recording like, Tim, you really want to do a podcast? I was just like, no, fuck it, why not? I didn't realize how much work goes into podcasts. I thought you just put a microphone, you record, boom.
Right.
And when my boy came out here, that was my first time really feeling like an entrepreneur. Like, oh wow, like this is work. Because as soon as I get home from my 9 to 5, 7 to 3, I work early. I don't do that 9 to 5. So when I would come home, we would instantly start recording with someone. Like I would drive from the West Valley to Scottsdale to record. I would drive to Chandler to record, and I was just like, damn, this is what it feels like to be an entrepreneur. Because you're constantly working, you're tired. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm built for this. Like, granted, I enjoy doing podcasting, but it definitely takes a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean,
Life in general takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, like I got 2 kids and it's just me. You know what I'm saying? So I wake up, I take them off to school, I come back. Now I'm thinking, okay, what I got to do? What's coming out today? I got to be on sneakers. I got to be on Nike. I got all these alerts going off. I got my business partner hit me up. We talking. We're trying to figure things out. It's like, what's coming out? Where I gotta go? Okay, I got this meeting for the 9 to, you know what I'm saying, not the 9 to 5, but the job.
Yeah.
So I got a meeting. I'm sitting on the meeting. I got my earbud in this ear. I'm watching YouTube or I'm looking at StockX. So I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like constantly, it's like you moving. So you get tired at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so when you said work, like I'll talk to my mom and my dad, and they'll be like, "Are you going to work at the store?" And to me, I'm like, it's not work. I like being at the store. You know what I'm saying? It's not work. Work is me going to stand in line to get the hottest shoe that's about to come out because I got to try to beat everybody else.
Yeah.
Or work is, you know what I'm saying, being online, trying to get this done, having a meeting, and it's like, okay, you got to go get this site shut down, so we got to do this. It's like, that's work.
I'm glad you brought up work
So
because
me here is different.
I don't have kids, but I'm married.
Right.
So any of you guys married?
Not yet.
Marriage is work.
Yeah.
It is work. Like, I love my wife to death, but you have to put the work in to maintain a good, healthy marriage. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, that's definitely.
Well, the perfect person I feel like that articulated was Kobe. So Kobe talked about
The
level of, the level of success and where guys go. Like some guys, they work real hard to get to the league. That's their plateau. Some guys work real hard to get that major contract. Then they plateau. Some guys want that one. Need that chip, they plateau. And there are other people that just keep going. And if you want to develop and grow out of your circumstances, it requires you to put in that work and figure out, if you plateau, okay, what do I got to do next? Something's got to change. Something's got to, and I've been there. I'm sure we've all been there, where it's like a creative block, or you just don't have the drive that you have, but then you look around you and go, am I content? And am I okay with this, or should I be setting another bar for myself? And am I willing to get there? And what does that require? Usually work.
Yeah, because
Everything's work.
when we first started the podcast, I was just like, I just want to do 20 episodes. We already like on 16. I'm like, damn, now I want to do 50. And I'm sure once I get to 50, I want to do 100 because I'm getting my feet. I feel like I got my feet wet and I'm really enjoying it. I just want to keep going. And I'm not getting no money from it, but I enjoy it. And if money comes, of course, that's great.
Right.
But I just love the fact that I'm actually committing myself to something outside of work and marriage and really having fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I do want to say this, since you said you want to keep going. I was trying to get him on, but sadly couldn't make it. We all know of Greg from Sneak Diss.
Yeah.
Recently, he's been talking about he's getting to that point. He's not sure if he wants to continue. And when I saw him at the previous Heated Soul, I kind of talked with him a little bit. I told him, like, bro, look, I understand, because even I kind of get a little angry. Like, they do have the best sneaker podcast. Like, I will hands down defend that statement till the day I die.
Oh, most definitely.
And I told him I understand, because I truly feel like they should be bigger than they actually are. and I asked him, like, bro, look, I understand if you do want to do it, but please don't quit. Because you don't realize how much you actually mean to a lot of people. Because I told him, like, you get me through my work week. Like, that's how serious it is.
Told him the same thing.
Yep.
Told him the same
So
thing.
it's
I'll
like,
take it over if you want me to. Take
oh
it.
yeah, and I tell people
I
all
wouldn't
the
watch
time.
it. He's not saying what I'm
Unsubscribe.
It's like when they bring this white dude.
Wait a minute.
One thing that I've learned just through the process of this is like, once you get comfortable, that kind of gives you the motive to stop going sometimes. You know? Like, it's just like you got to make yourself uncomfortable just to be like, okay, this is something new I can learn. And that's one thing that I had to challenge myself with, because I would have them days where I just like, you know what? I'm done. Let me just go back to 195. I can just get money like that. I'm tired of trying to come through, pay the rent every month and stuff. And it's just like, you know what? Let me just try something different.
This came pretty quick. Like, I just got the idea, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it, because I struggled with that in the past when I was first starting. You know, just trying to be so like planned and calculated with doing these, and it's like I realize, you know, some of my best work I feel has always happened when I just jumped the gun and was uncomfortable. So now I'm kind of trying to take that approach more, you know, kind of be more uncomfortable with whatever it is you do, because I feel when I'm backed in a corner, that's when I give it my all. That's when my best comes out. I'm not sure how y'all feel about
I
that.
think that's everybody.
I know exactly. You got to find the thing that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I found the thing that makes me most uncomfortable is when somebody comes up to me and goes, "Man, I wish I had it like you, man. I wish I could drive that car. I wish I could have those shoes." Makes me so uncomfortable. I'm like, I gotta keep working, because somebody's always coming. Somebody's always like, "Oh, I want you to drive like, you know, my 9 to 5 or, you know, Rule 27 design." Like, "Oh man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could have that. I wish I could be in this spot."
Stop wishing.
Yeah, stop wishing to do it, but hold on, let
Right.
me keep working so that you don't come up from behind and
You know, it's
take my spot.
it's another thing too. I mean, obviously, we take some. I don't know about you. I'm very competitive to a degree, so it's like, you know, like I'm very respectful about it. You know, like I'll easily, you know, tell somebody, "Hey, good job. You know, you definitely put in the work to get that." But in the back of my head, I'm like, "Oh, okay, bet. All right, I'm gonna get that too."
That's exactly how I am, because what I like, me just customizing sneakers, there's, for every one of me, there's about 1 million people out. You feel me? At one point, it was me and probably like maybe 5 other big people out here doing customs in AZ. I looked on I just typed in the hashtag, you know, AZ sneaker artists like customs Arizona. I seen about 30 people out of nowhere. I ain't even know. Oh shit, these are the new people coming up. I've been too comfortable. I need to put back in work, because I feel like people don't know who I am. And then, even then, I have those moments like, if I'm in state or out of state, if I go somewhere and people are like, "Oh shoot, you're Bass." They always get my name wrong. "You're Bass." It's Bass. "Yeah, but yeah, I love your work. Woo to it, woo." I ain't got that in a minute. So it's just like, I know that I'm not doing no work. You feel me?
Right.
And then there's a bunch of people that's coming up it's opportunities being handed out left and right just for different things. But I have to be the best at what I'm doing and be original at what I'm doing too, because at the same time, a lot of these people just get in the game. Let me just get these LV stencils, put them up on there,
Right.
boom, put them out. Yeah, you could go on Etsy and find
Oh,
50 million
yeah.
people doing that.
Mhm.
You feel me?
Right.
But like, what are you putting out that's going to be different that people can look at and be like, all right, I can't get those from any other artist,
Yeah.
or if I could get it from another artist, it's going to be hard to find.
Oh, yeah.
You feel me?
It's
So
even with detailing. I tell people all the time, like going to the SEMA show, because I'm not sure if you guys are really familiar with it. Not just anybody can go there. Like you have to basically own a business to go there. There are loopholes. You didn't hear from me. But I tell everybody it's a blessing going, because it's one of those experiences. If you're just into cars, it's one of those things you have to go to at least one time. The reason why I hate it shows me how behind I can get in my field, because years ago ceramic coating was the big new thing. Now that's just the regular. Now it's almost to a point now, if you don't know how to lay down paint protection film, which is clear bra, but you can lay on the entire car. If you don't know how to do that, it's almost to the point you're behind now. That's how fast things switch in that industry, at least from how I feel. As business owners and creatives, how important do you think it is to be on social media, as much as possible?
it's super.
Oh yeah, I
important.
agree. You have to.
I hate it at this point.
Oh yeah, it's
Thank
annoying.
you.
Like,
Yes.
like it's one of those things. Like, once I got paid, to do reels on Instagram, oh yeah, man, I'm getting paid. Getting this extra money, and then one day I sat down and I was like, I gotta come up with something every time to match this sound, to make sure that it goes with whatever I'm doing, to make sure the algorithm is working. And it's like, bruh, I'm tired.
And you know what I hate most about it? It's gotten to a point you can literally just slap any track on a reel, and you could almost not put any work into it. I see some, and again, this is me getting into my critiquing, but it's a problem when I see people that literally took no effort to even make the reel, versus you have this artist that arguably this reel is some of the best work you might ever see, and it only has 10 views, versus this
Right.
one, you just got Addison Rae dancing and all that. That's got 1 million views. I'm like, bro, come on.
I'm horrible at real shit. I just be slapping music and speeding it up. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just post it.
Yeah, it's crazy though,
It's the
because
worst.
you can do I don't know, because it's like some people you just put all this work in to make this great piece of work for, you know what I'm saying, or just this great reel, and then you see the one dude who's around here who eating, just say the woo woo sound. It's like,
That's the homie. I ain't gonna
no,
hold you.
how, bro? How is
But
this
Exactly.
famous?
but he
but
built
it's-
his audience on there. People love food. You feel me?
Yeah.
Food, dogs, and babies.
Why can I not remember his name?
I
You
can't
go by
remember his
Yuddy.
name, but
I
yeah,
have
You go by
no idea.
Yuddy.
he eat the most ridiculous stuff, and then, you know what I'm saying, it just be
It don't
all
be
over his face.
ridiculous. You feel me? It'd be like a burrito, but
It'd be
he'll put a bunch of
crazy.
sauce over it. And it's
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
reaction. But
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But for him,
that's
what he's building.
Oh,
But then
yeah.
outside of that,
But no, I ain't mad
dude is
at
a
it.
dope boxer though.
I'm not mad
you
at it.
feel me?
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
mad at it. Dude, he
Box throw hands.
Yeah.
Oh.
he killing what he doing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
But
Credit-
it just
credit
seems
where
it
it's
seems
due.
like this, it seems effortless. It's like, so all you doing is just eating this saying, ooh, what? And then you have this one dude that's sitting here probably you thinking about dang, what I'm gonna do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just seems weird. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think for social media is just wild, just in terms of design. But for me, I feel like I hate it so much.
Yes.
I hate it. If Jesus came down right now and said, Warren, you can eliminate one thing from society, you would be hard pressed, to get me to not say social media. And it would be
I
instantaneous.
respect
Like,
it.
you could take away rapists, you could take away child pedophiles,
Social media.
No, they're good. We got lost for them.
It's
Social
just
media
social
addict.
media. I just feel like it
I
would solve
think
so
you
many
cure a
problems.
lot of
feel-
things too.
I do feel since social media is so popular now, people don't know how to communicate with each other in person.
Oh yeah,
That's another thing.
100%.
That's another thing. It's just a lot of skills are lost with people who just specifically are on the internet. You feel me? It's just you can't have a conversation outside of that. Like I notice how like a lot of these people who are big influence or whatever, like if I talk to them in real life, it's like, bro, why are you so
boring,
weird?
bro.
Like, yeah, and then on top of like a lot of them are
Boring.
boring, like this life that you're portraying or whatever, this is
Yeah.
not what you go through on a daily. And the day that it clicked for me, I was in Inland Empire, California. This woman, we was at this beach, Jamaican barbecue cookout, water, whatever, jet skis. She literally takes her phone, walks over to the water. Woo! Yeah, we out here turning up. Put it back.
Yep.
I'm like,
What, the jerk wings fire though?
well, the food was on point. The food was on point.
Oh man, social media is like, for one, I stress this to every. Social media is not real, bro.
Right.
Like that's what people are getting confused. Like I said, being an entrepreneur has become a trend. Where did that trend start? Social media.
Social media is real for 60% of the people.
Okay.
Because what you
Yeah.
post on the internet,
Yeah.
what you post on the internet, what we put, like, I'm actually in this place. I'm actually in Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm actually
yeah,
in San
yeah,
Diego.
Yeah.
It's the influencers. It's the top 10, 15%
Oh,
of people
yeah.
who are completely making this all up.
There's actually a documentary either on Hulu or
It's on
Netflix
Netflix.
about social media influencers and how they really fake the numbers and stuff like
Yeah.
that or whatever. But what I will say, like, one of the highs of having social media and being able to connect with people that I otherwise would have to be in their presence to meet,
Oh yeah.
it's actually pretty dope to like have these companies
yeah.
and stuff reach out to me and just be like, yo, we're trying to work with you. Like, there's a bunch of celebrities that I see that verified check and I have to, hold on, is this?
Yeah.
I know Jenkins didn't just hit me. What?
Overall, do you guys enjoy what you're doing?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I do.
Anyone who knows me knows I'm opinionated and I love
Oh, we
talking.
know.
So
We know.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like
We know.
whatever you get into, you have to love it, because the minute you stop loving it, it's gone. And that's one of the things that I try to tell the people who are like, oh, I want to start customizing sneakers. Like, what do I got to do? Whatever. Like, I could give you a whole starter kit. I could send you a bunch of YouTube links on how to get started and stuff.
Mhm.
But then it's just ultimately like, if you don't have a love for art, you're not gonna make it that long.
Yes.
And then for me, I'm just lucky enough that I have a love for sneakers, like, since '98. So it's just loving sneakers and then just wanting to be different. It's just like, I'm gonna continue to have that love for it. Like, I could stop making money for it today, but I know that I'm still gonna be able to create for myself. You feel me? And then of course, like, the close ones around me that still want something dope is like, I could hook you up or whatever, but it's just like, I just love doing that. I
Yeah.
love being able to hand you that box, and then once you open it, you see that reaction, because just
Yeah.
I have a connection with sneakers that's just, it just goes full circle back to just me loving this all around, So it's just, you don't have a love for it, you're not gonna make it far.
Where we move, the whole world follows in our path. But where we move, the whole world follows in our path. Where we move, the whole world follows in our path.